want you to know. I want you to know that there's.
Is this in the front of me all the time?
Yeah. So, I want you to know that this podcast is done with the best intentions, because a couple of times if you asked me about why am I doing it, and the reason why I'm doing it, Ken, is people like yourself, right? There's loads of people who are, mate, you've done a lot with your job, haven't you? You've done a lot with your life. You might not see it, but you have.
I don't see it. I just think.
Right. Okay. So, but in what we're going to talk about, there'll be parts where people will find inspiration from it and stuff that you don't know. And because naturally the industry's not very good on social media, and we're all just trying to sell our services, aren't we?
Yeah. And
there isn't really a big platform that's talking about franchising. I'm quite into social media.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, exactly. So, and taking Kay on, it was a no-brainer. It's cost me a few £1,000s to get all the equipment. I had the route.
I thought you meant to take Kay on.
Well,
listen, I'm not that cheap.
Yeah, she's not that cheap. She's bloody expensive, actually. So I just want you to know.
That's in fuel from Darwin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just remember not to touch the microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, you've just done it now.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay.
3, 2, 1, when you're ready.
So, welcome to the Tezlom Podcast. I'm a little bit nervous about this one. I have to admit. I've got Ken Deary with me, and I'm going to get him to introduce himself. And if you could just tell us a little bit about what you do, what you've done in the past, and go from there, Ken.
A little bit about what I've done in the past.
That's the whole point of the podcast. That's the whole point of the podcast. But
How many years have you got?
Well, this is the problem, because you sent me an email explaining all the awards you've got, and I'm like, I'm going to need about 6 podcasts with this guy.
No.
And you live in Southport, so we might do 6. But if you could just tell us your job title, what you currently do now, and briefly what you've done in the past, just some highlights.
I guess my main roles now, I'm chairman and owner of Right at Home UK. Also chairman of the BFA, which is a great thing, lovely thing to be asked to do.
Yeah, amazing.
Because the BFA, I think it's really great for ethical franchising in the UK. And
mate, it's an honour to be asked, isn't it?
Absolute honour. Yeah. And another honour, I was asked to be a non-executive director at Able World, which is the one of the largest mobility aids retailers in the UK.
Yeah, I know Able
That's
World.
a fantastic company to work with. So, and then I've got other stuff. But they're the 3 main.
They're the things that keep you busy.
Yeah.
Okay, so those we're going to try and cover all them objectives, and there's a couple of things I want to ask you as well, and I guess I don't know how to sort of put this into words, but just give me.
Sounds a bit dangerous, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's a bit like you know, Right at Home. Just for people watching this who don't know Right at Home, please give me sizes of it. How many franchises? How big's your team at head office? How many care staff have you got? Rough figures, roughly.
Well, we've got coming up to now 80 offices in the UK, and we've deliberately took measured growth. I do know some brands will grow at 10, 15 a year. We've had a target of 6 to 8 a year, and deliberately, because we want really top franchisees to join us firstly for longevity of relationships, for quality, and I think because of that, the quality side of our business is really, I feel, shone through.
Just a bit.
Not because of me, because of the team we've got, the team and the franchisees.
Yeah. But just so you've got about 80 franchises.
Yeah.
How many staff would you? Is it head office?
I think that's that before. We've got 27 staff at
head office
supporting them. In business, you have a little space where you need to take on more staff. and then you have growth of the franchises, and then you'll have to take on more staff again, won't you, for the next period of growth. So we'll be up to 30 staff soon, because we're going through a period of growth where we want to hit 100 franchises with 100 million turnover, and we've been quite open about that, you know.
Right, so I live and breathe my business, and I'm sure you do, and I'm up to 16 franchises, and I've been through lots in the 12 years I've been here. And I'm 40 years old, and I've got a team at the minute of, I think there's 16 of us.
Wow.
So that's the head office, the
but
pilot.
Also,
the pilot's already here as well.
And that's
so,
been here quite a few years.
So the pilot was going a few years before we franchised. It's 3 years. So the pilot and then the head office team, support team, and there's a couple of people a dual role as well, so they still work in the head office but do the franchise network as well. How do you cope growing your team, Ken? Like, you must have started one day on your own and just grown it. I guess there won't be a magic one moment, or is anything sort of like a special thing that you work with, but like growing a team's particularly difficult, isn't it? Like, I know having a team's amazing, but actually getting the right people and growing the team, is there any special ingredients?
The early days are, but you have to build a culture, don't you?
Yeah, it's all about culture.
Fantastic culture. So, well, you know, I'll go back, where I started.
Yeah.
I had a really good job at a company called Royal Insurance, which was in Liverpool.
Were you Southport born and bred, Ken?
No, Liverpool. I was bought and moved to Southport, and I absolutely love Southport.
Yeah.
I love Liverpool, but love Southport too, you know. And so moved when I was younger, and I won't go into all that detail because that'll take ages.
Could I grip a little bit of it? Could I just get us like a bit of a framework of your family life? Could I ask, is that all right with you?
I don't really say a lot. But, you know, it was quite a tough
upbringing.
In terms of, you know, we were quite comfortable, and then mum and dad divorced. So, you know, that was quite young, all the bitterness. That's, to be honest with you, that screwed me up a bit.
Yeah.
It screwed me up
mentally.
I was about 10 at the time, and you know, the eldest of 5 screwed me up a bit, made me angry with a lot of things, you know. And but tell you what, the key thing for that, I had to fend for myself, I had to make decisions for myself, because my mum brought us up.
In Liverpool with your father?
We just moved then to Melling, which is on the outskirts of Liverpool, isn't it? We moved from Croxteth to Melling. So, you know, Croxteth, Wayne Rooney country. So to Melling, and, you know, my mum brought us up. Those days, very difficult for women to sort of get jobs and that, and it's great to see, you know, the opportunities now for ladies and that. And there was nothing really mum could teach us about business or stuff, but she could teach us about life and, you know, being a good person and all that kind of thing. So really, I've had to teach myself along the way and learn all the lessons myself and made the mistakes.
Yeah, grow up quick, haven't you? What were you like in school? Were you primary school then? So did you like school? Or?
Yeah, well, by the time I was 15, we moved to Southport, and I went to Stanley.
Did you?
School, I think, you know, which was great. You know, that I had a great experience there, but yeah, I guess I've always been pretty ambitious, determined, but not in a way where I wanted to ever stand on people or money is the be all and end all. You know, I know I could have made a lot more money in life if I had been ruthless, but you don't want to be ruthless. No. You know, you want to be. To me, it's important to be a decent person too. You know what I mean? And look after people, look after your staff. Don't get me wrong, if someone tries to better be careful, screw me.
Yeah,
I'm a different person then.
Yeah.
But I will look after people as far as I can until they do something to wrong me on the way.
Do you think, on reflection, just literally within that seconds you just said that, do you feel like your determination came from being a single parent with your mum and not having very much money and seeing a bit of suffering there?
Yeah, I think, I always remember, told this to our franchisees at conference, our last conference I was, when I was younger, I'd used to try to get some money. I'd caddy at the local golf clubs and that, just to... And then you'd walk down past the nicest houses, and I thought, I'm having some of this in the future. I want this in the future because...
Mate, I love that because I know where you live.
I thought, I can do this. People will tell you can't, but, most people can. I'm not saying everyone can do it because, if you might have something that stops you doing it, but by and large, a lot of people, if they're really determined, can get
where they need to be.
Where they want to be, and not everyone wants to be the same.
No.
And that's total respect, because does everyone want to be Prime Minister?
No.
No, I wouldn't want to be Prime Minister.
I wouldn't.
Does everyone, but everyone, if they really set themselves targets, most people can achieve them.
Yeah. You can aspire to want to do things, can't you?
Yeah.
If you aspire to want to do something, I think with enough determination and guile and support, you could probably get there.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're trying to say is but to get where you are, there's a lot of determination there, isn't there, from where you came from?
I think I never really had a mentor, which is quite difficult. I would say anyone who wants to get somewhere quicker now should have a mentor,
coach,
or not maybe a coach, but get someone close to them that they look at. I guess it's a lot easier nowadays because you've got all of these things like podcasts, Diary of a CEO. They're really useful. If you listen to those stories, years ago you couldn't get them stories.
No.
And you had to, a lot of time you had to teach yourself, but it's some things I don't like about social media, like when people hide and have a go at other people. I hate that because I just see them as cowards, but there's some really positives about it, the learnings that can go on between people.
That I'm exactly the same as you in that respect. I feel like I use it as a tool to enhance my knowledge. That's how I use it, and then I use it. I post to try and tell my story the best I can and tell other people's story that I work with story as well. And I think that's how I use social media. I think if you use it in the right way, it's an amazing tool. But
you've got to set targets because I remember my mother wanted me as the eldest son to go to university. I don't know, she just had this thing about going to university because those days, because I'm older than you, the government paid for your grant and everything, so
it was quite
she
easy,
said, do it, and I worked like anything to get me A-levels because I wanted to do it for her.
Yeah.
So went to the University of Leeds, which is very privileged to have been able to do that. And actually sent money home from my mum from the grant because you just had to help, with the family and all that. And then I went on and worked at Royal Insurance. I did a really good job there, travelled the world.
What did you get? Did you finish university, Ken? What did you do? What was your qualification?
Economics.
Economics,
yeah.
Did you just have different jobs in between whilst you're at uni?
Well, I think I was one of the best bin men in Southport.
Really?
No, I worked on the bins in Southport.
Really? I love that.
I worked on the post. I was a postman, street sweeper.
Right.
But the hardest job I did was baling hay.
Wow. We're at a farm round in Southport somewhere.
Yeah, in the hot summers was one tough job. You know, I was quite a fit lad anyway, but you come home, the heat, and, you know, baling them hays was just unbelievable. And and a building labourer. So those days, you didn't have McDonald's jobs and all that, you know, so... but it was fantastic. It was a good, you know, you really see doing the basics, you know, doing tough manual jobs, and you know that helps in grounding you. You know, you won't forget. I won't forget that.
So it teaches the value of money, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It teaches you how hard it is to work for a quid.
Well, I always remember there was a field by the back of our house, and Mum had sent me to the shops, and I lost 50p on the way back. No, she sent me through that field to find that 50p, and I had to spend about 4 hours searching through the grass for 50p, and I found it in the end. Well, I mean,
cost of...
Them days, she'd have just hit me with the broom. No, honestly, they were different days then. But I tell you what, you had some discipline from it.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Okay, so we've got to university. We're in Leeds and then coming home working in between and stuff like that, or how did that
work? I always had jobs and that, you know, working, and then I come back, graduated, and then I was lucky enough to get a graduate trainee at Royal Insurance. Now, Royal Insurance were FTSE top 30 company.
Right.
They're now joined with Sun Alliance to make Royal Sun Alliance. Yeah. It wasn't one of the best mergers in history, but it was a fantastic business. The next role up for me would have been one of the directors of the operating companies, but really I had this yearning. I think because my father and I didn't have a good relationship because split up from Mum, but he had his own business, so that's in your blood a bit, isn't it? You see that, and I guess the other thing, because I had to fend for myself from young and make your own decisions, you want to make your own way. Now, when you got a really good job and you know, final pension, the salary scheme's a lot, it's quite difficult just to go out and
give it all up.
Yeah, so probably early 90s.
Sorry to stop, Ken. I'm just going to grab bits that I think are interesting. You kind of skimmed over the insurance bit, and obviously you qualified, and then you said you nearly...
Qualified as an accountant, by the way, and then went into the operations systems.
And then, so how long were you insurance for? How long were you in that?
I think it's about 11 years. Yeah.
Did you start at the bottom, sort of make your way up in there?
Well, I was graduate trainee, so you took the accounting exams with the Royal Insurance, then moved up through the...
Do you think in any elements in that role that you started learning about how to grow a team, or did you go for anything there that sort of taught you any lessons, or did you have a mentor there who sort of guided you all?
No, but you look around all the time. You know, everything. When I'm here, I'm looking around. What can you learn? And there was loads of learnings. And you know, Royal Insurance were an FTSE top 30 company, so they put a lot of money into training people, a lot of money into development of people. Mm-hmm. You know, it was quite forward thinking, because I always remember in the office, the administrative office where we were, they had a gym in there. You know, they used a massive gym. They had a bar. Yeah. You know, this is going back in the 80s, early 90s. That was, they were quite advanced in the thinking, you know.
Some companies aren't doing that now still. Well, we are.
Well, we're not. You're not big enough, but we haven't got that size. But you know, they're a big company, a lot of people. But you know, those were quite advanced things, and
really,
I learned a lot. The big thing I always think is you get people who come away from companies, and it's only when they come away from good companies that they realise how much they've learned.
Yeah, you're right there, you know.
I could go on then to McDonald's, but how much did I learn at McDonald's? It was absolutely fantastic learning.
Just talk me through that, Ken, because everyone hears the stories that you end up flipping burgers at the beginning and then you work your way through it. Just let me scrape it right back.
Yeah.
You're in the insurance job, you want to get
how did it happen, mate? Come on. Right, so in Royal Insurance, I wanted to work for myself.
Yeah.
Not easy to do that. We just had our first child.
I was going to say you married a wife and
first child, and then I was determined, but I looked round and I looked at franchising because I thought, right, it's going to be hard for me to replicate same income. What was good in franchising? And this was the early 90s, and franchising didn't have the ethical name it has now. No. And there weren't the same breadth of companies. Yeah. The real standout was obviously McDonald's. Yeah. And I applied to McDonald's, and what happened first, they said, right, okay, you come for a test. So you work in a McDonald's, which was the one up the road in Kew. There, come and work in McDonald's, unpaid for the weekend. So you work for the weekend as a test. I always remember I was picking litter in the car park because you have to do everything, and good on them.
It's fantastic. The stories fantastic. You hear, I love that.
So you're picking litter in the car park, and there was this lad that played football with, and he was the kind that always tries to have a go at everyone. Yeah. And he saw us, and he was spreading the room, and God, he's hit up hard times. He's picking litter in the car park now in McDonald's. So I love the fact, he just picks up on the... So, you work there as... for the weekend, so I passed that, and then after that you had so many interviews with different people at McDonald's, the board, security, you name it, and then I passed through that, and then the next stage was I had to do 9 months unpaid training.
9 months?
9 months unpaid training, but and that would be how to cook everything, because the McDonald's want you to know everything, which is fantastic, and then the operations, how to run the profit and loss and everything, and I got through that, and then what happens then is it may have changed a bit now. I don't think it's changed a lot, but may changed somewhat. And then they'll offer you a store. If you turn that down, they'll offer you a second. Turn that down, offer you a third. If you turn that down, you've wasted all that time.
That's it. It's done.
Done. So they offered me Southport town centre, which is since after I left them, they since closed the town centre, so they offered Southport. I know why, but we had multiple operational difficulties, but you're not going to sell the easy to run one, so
Ken, I'm going to pry a little bit more. You can tell me I just need to know, because it's fascinating.
Yeah. I thought you just nosy, Ryan.
Yeah. But I just think about the people that might be listening. Do you get what I mean?
Go on. Yeah.
With McDonald's, do they have stores already open that you become a franchise of, or do you actually put the money in and raise it and build a building? How does that?
No, they would. Well, then I'm sure it's same now. It'd be their stores, their operational stores. Yeah. Probably the ones that are underperforming a little bit, because why franchise the best ones? You're not going to, are you? No. Although I think most are franchised now in the UK, and first one was town centre McDonald's. So by the time I got there, I'd had to give up my job to do the unpaid training, and you're talking well over a year.
And I bet a really good salary as well.
How
did the missus cope with that?
She had to work harder.
What did she do for a job? Well, what did she do for a job?
She was a medical secretary, so it was quite a loss of income, but, I'd put some savings to it, and McDonald's were great. They tried to help you as much as they can. Fantastic company, by the way.
Yeah, I have nothing I think they're incredible.
Oh, yeah, they're incredible company. And so... I did all the training, opened McDonald's on the 4th of December, 1994. I took over McDonald's, East Bank Street, and always remember within about 10 minutes we had a flood of water coming through the roof.
Are you joking?
I said, there's water. No, that's your responsibility now. So I'm thinking...
Welcome to McDonald's, boom, straight to the deep end.
But I tell you what, we had some great times, but some tough times. Like
I kind of that's see for me, and I'm very young. I think in my career. Well, I've been doing it 12 years, but I often reflect on my behaviour and my emotions and what I'm going through, and try and be a better person as I'm leading a team.
Yeah.
Especially at my age, because I employ some people who are older than me, and I have to be really empathetic and sympathetic and just all sorts of different life's trivials.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to talk to you about the hardship of doing this, because it's amazing talking about awards, and it's amazing the accolades you've been through, but the real learning's in the tough times, isn't it, Ken? Like that's, the real learning's there, isn't it?
All right, so I ask you then, you're told tomorrow that you can't actually let any of your staff, you can't recruit staff, or so I don't know how you do them, hire them out or whatever you call it. Because what happened at McDonald's is, do you remember a thing called foot and mouth disease?
Yeah.
Well, you imagine our menu board, 90% of it was meat that we sold. We had to stop selling meat.
Wow.
And I always remember the day putting up the menu board and putting brown paper over the menu board. It wasn't all digitalised then and all this kind of thing. Yeah. And putting in, you imagine stopping selling your main thing. And I had quite a loan on,
Yeah. How many staff did you have roughly, Ken?
Purchase, it'd be about 40 odd staff, and
massive lease.
Massive lease. The whole, I'm putting that up, and I remember being physically sick at the toilet, because you think, oh God, this is it. This is, and McDonald's were great. Tried to help the franchisees. Well, did help the franchisees through it, but that was an unbelievable time. So I always remember when we come to coronavirus, and everyone says you're dead calm. He says, well, you just we'll get through this. When you've been through some of the things I've seen over the years, and it didn't seem anything to me.
It's interesting you say that, because my mum runs this business with me, and she's 70. And she's been through hell and high water as well with businesses since the 90s. Yeah. And she's the same. She was just like, it's all right, we'll get through it. We'll just make our way through it. We'll put things in place. And I'm like,
exactly.
Well, yeah, you just kind of do, don't you? But it's
the one thing that wound me up about it was someone telling me I couldn't go out for my daily run.
Yeah.
At first, whenever they changed that after a bit, but that really wound me up.
Can I just dive into some of the more intricate stuff? And I'm sorry to do this, Ken, but it's stuff that I have to learn from, and I'm only going to ask these questions by asking someone who's so much experience. But when you've been sick in the toilet, like what do you do to cope? Like at home, do you go for runs? Do you stop drinking? Do you go drinking? Do you go for a walk with the missus? Is there anything you did? Can you remember?
Well, I'm big into sport.
Yeah.
So I'd run, I'd go on the weights, but massive worry. I didn't sleep for
weeks on end.
But we got through it, and sales were even bigger when they
came back. Because everyone wanted a burger, didn't they?
Yeah, everyone wanted a burger, and there's so many interesting stories.
Yeah, I just try to capture some bits because I feel like when people trying to run a business, or if someone was looking at buying a franchise or being a franchisor or just running a small business, you often admire the accomplishments, don't you? But we and you both know there's a lot of hardship there, more hardship than accomplishments, I'd say sometimes.
Well, if I go through the McDonald's journey, and then I'll talk about the right at home journey, I'm going from just being a single person running it to running a business now where we don't have to depend on any one person.
Yeah, if we can just
that's quite that's a really interesting transformation. So McDonald's, start with one store, and it seems a sheer responsibility, all these staff, high customer expectations. You're in the spotlight all the time because you make a mistake. Everyone wanted to know about McDonald's making a mistake, don't they? So it's quite.
They love it, the press, don't they?
Yeah. So you are in locally. You're quite in a goldfish bowl. Everyone sort of knows you and everything. And so I ended up with 4 stores, which at the time was the maximum you could have. But there's a couple of things. I'm very much into my health.
Yeah. Is there any staple things in your health that you do regularly? I'm going to throw you off track again.
You like to throw us off track, don't you?
Because I'm sorry, Ken, it's just important. Do you get me? It's important for people to understand what you go through to run 4 McDonald's stores.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So have you always kept on top of your exercise week in, week out? Even after a stressful day, you'll go for a run or...
Yeah, I'd try and go for a run. Well, we used to play a lot of football. I've always been into gym and weight training and running. So I just keep that going because that's my release. Everyone's different. Yeah. That was my release, and that keeps me sort of...
Same.
Often having best thoughts when I'm going for a run.
Yeah.
Because what might have been a massive issue, you're thinking, all right, it's not that big when you've been for a run. So, during time at 4 stores, I was lucky enough to become the first McDonald's franchisee to win the BFA Franchisee of the Year.
I know, yeah. It's amazing, that, isn't it? And I know how much hard work goes into them awards.
Yeah, and it was Bernard Ingham who interviewed me and everything, so he recently passed away. And then I won the Golden Arches Award, which was the top 30 franchisees in the world.
What goes into that, Ken? How did you get that accolade?
It's just quality, drive for growth, doing everything right. You've got to see growth, because that's important to any business, but also the quality factors and everything. So that was great, but I guess because I was into my health, and at that time McDonald's was getting quite a badging about health and that, and it didn't feel quite right. I've got to do something I really feel 100% good about, and I didn't quite feel 100% good.
Yeah, didn't go your morals sort of.
And credit to McDonald's, who've changed the menu now to get it right, because they're just a fab company. And the other thing was very ambitious. For me, I didn't want 4 stores. That wasn't where I wanted to be. I wanted to run my own thing and be bigger. So I wanted, I thought I want to run a regional company, and then I thought I want to run a national company. But that's would never say anything against McDonald's, because they taught me so much about how people side of business side of business, quality. When you look, one little bit of paper on the floor is a lack of quality in McDonald's, and the attention to detail is something that has really stood me in good stead. You know, that attention to detail they have is just amazing, you know.
That onboarding process you went through at McDonald's as well has probably taught you a lot about how you onboard your franchise.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, like the whole process, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, and I learned so much about business and controlling margins and that, you know, not everyone will get that opportunity, but what a great opportunity.
Mate, you've been like the university of how to run a business, haven't you, really, so to speak? You have really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it's only when you actually leave a company, as I said earlier, that you realise how much you've learned and how good that company was.
It's a reflection piece, isn't it, Ken? Because you're in a different scenario and you go, I did this here, and I coped, and this is what I did, and you sort of use the same emotions and movements to complete that, don't you? And that's what you realise.
So it taught, you know, I've got so much to be thankful of McDonald's. You don't realise it when you leave, but, you know, one, all the learnings, but two, you know, chance to win Franchisee of the Year, because that's moved me on, and I didn't realise how important that might come till later once I started franchising myself. So leave McDonald's, sold back to McDonald's, and I thought, you know, I looked carefully for a few months. Always remember, you know, sold up. Everyone says, "Oh, why don't you retire?" Well,
how old were you when it happened, roughly? 50, I can't remember. It's sometime in Surely
that.
The missus said to you, "We're not going to go travelling around the world," did she not? Did she not say that to you, or did you?
The thing is, I always remember, it's quite hard when you sell up a company. Mentally, it's a mental toil, that, you know. It really...
What, when you sell it?
Oh, yeah. It's a big change in your life, and you know, anyone who's sold a company that they've built up will tell you it's one of the hardest things mentally to do, because it's your baby.
Yeah.
You know, your staff and everything, and it was really difficult. Now, I thought I'll have couple of months while I decide where my next path. I had some ideas, but I just wanted to get them concrete. And I always remember, because I play golf a bit, not fantastic, but I play golf.
I've heard you're pretty good, to be honest with you.
No. And I played on a Monday, and no disrespect, you know, about the youngest person on the golf course, and I was the youngest. The next one would be about 80. And I thought, there's no way I'm retiring. You know what? Yeah. This is not what I want to be doing. It's. Do you think the quickest way to get old, in my opinion?
Can I just ask you? Do you think you lost a little bit of purpose?
Purpose in terms of.
Well, because I mean, not as existing as a human, but having a massive business with hundreds of employees, your brain's engaged all the time. You've got
undoubtedly,
and selling the business, and you've got loads of money, I suspect, in the bank, and you could do pretty much what you want to a certain degree. But then it's like, what am I actually going to do?
Yeah, exactly, and that ain't me.
And at 50 years old, you still, you could, well, you are.
Yeah. So what looked, and I thought, I want something that I feel good about and makes a difference every day, and you know, but also something that has a future. You know, that you can make money, because you know, you want to feed the family. Yeah. You want to be successful.
But you want to leave something to your kids.
Exactly. So it had to be something I felt good about doing every day. But also, I looked and I thought, cares business that's got opportunity, because people are getting older all the time.
People keep getting poorly.
Yeah, and I thought, and I'd seen with my wife's mother for years being health issues, and my wife was a virtual part-time carer looking after her mum. So I sort of in and around it, so you sort of understood it. And latterly, my mum was in a care home, so I thought, that's looks at the kind of business. So bought a care home in Lancashire, and then I was in that care home and thought, I want to grow regionally, and then I saw in the industry press that right at home in the United States were looking for a master license holder for the UK. And I didn't realise that franchising and care went together. You could do it. Obviously, Homestead had just started in the UK with Trevor Brocklebank, and really good company.
Lovely guy as well, isn't he?
It sort of registered. I didn't know about Trevor at the time. It registered while I was in there.
Can I just stop you again? I'm so sorry. The care home, just give me an example of how that happened. Can you just briefly talk about? I know you're trying to get into right home, but it's important. You just bought a care home in Lancashire, did you?
Well, I got told through this guy that there was a care home up for sale. Yeah. And it was with another guy, and we looked at it, and since bought out the other guy. But I thought, well, that gets us into the care sector, but it's just luck really that this one had come available, and probably overpaid at the time to get in there. But
taught you some lessons about healthcare, didn't it?
And then started to understand care, and then I'm reading the industry press and saying, right at home looking for a master license holder for the UK, and thought, crikey, I'm starting to understand care, and I've got some reasonable knowledge from a franchisee perspective of franchising.
More than reasonable, but
I could put these two together, and I saw right at home, and they flew out to see me quite quickly, and we signed a license. We run very independently. They great relationship with right at home in the US, but we run totally autonomous, because I knew enough about franchising that I wanted total autonomy. So we mainly on a license type agreement.
Did you go over to America, did you? Or did they come over to you? How did that bit work?
They came over, Alan Hager, the owner, saw me in the Institute's directors. He was in Europe at the time and flew over, and he, got on well, nice guy. Then I went over there to see them, their operation and everything, and we took it from there. But understanding franchising, I wanted to be decisions ourselves. But it helped our start, because like with I guess with Trevor with Homestead, there was a starting point and people looked to that. The other thing that I didn't quite realise was my background with McDonald's and being, a relatively successful franchisee there. I don't like saying successful because, but really helped to recruit franchisees, because he says, well, you've done it.
Yeah, that's it, mate. And you're not only done it, you smashed it to pieces, Ken. Well, so like, you're not going to say that.
That's up to other people.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So, that helped us. That being winning franchisee of the year, BFA, really helped. And then we're lucky enough now to be. I think Pip tells me I'm the only person that's won both the franchisee and the franchisor of the year in 2021, which is down to the people we have and the franchisees.
So we get into the crux of like how Right at Home started, and who was your first person, and how did that start, and where did it all how did it go? Come on.
Yeah. So we started off. We had to get the pilot up and running and prove the concept, and I thought, should I open in Southport, where I knew everyone, and I could have pulled a lot of strings. And I thought, well, that's a bit of cheating to some way. Let's go to somewhere and prove the concept that's a bit harder, like Preston, where I didn't know people, and we proved the concept out in Preston. And then we since, once we'd proved the concept and got the thing going, about 18 months after, it was 2000 and I'm not a great one on history, by the way. You can tell I always try and think next way forward. So around 2010, I think we started January, and in Preston, after 18 months, we proved the concept. It started to do well. We started to look for franchisees. So you start from a little room with a desk and no employees. So it's like
literally
right, okay, yeah. So I did recruit. One of the early caregivers we employed was a young lady, quite well known now in franchising, Kate Dilware. Yeah. She was a caregiver. Kate now, she.
Oh, no way, was she?
Yeah, she's recruits our franchisees amongst other things.
I've met her a few times.
So it's nice, Kate has seen that and grown through the company. So it was just started with a desk and a small room, and this is the good thing, growing the businesses. So early on, there's me, and we recruited, and then we had a registered manager and some care staff in the operations, and then basically recruited someone else to help me. And you bring people in along the way, and they don't all last, because either they don't do your standards, or they think they can get better elsewhere, and all that. What you've got to learn is, when you start out with your staff, don't expect them all to be there at the finish. There'll be certain people that will go through the journey with you, but not everyone.
There was a word we spoke about beforehand, and you mentioned it before about culture. I think you're right, exactly what you said, but I think people leaving, coming and going and staying helps form the shape of your culture of your business. Yeah. You know what you don't want. You know what you don't want. And there's some people that come and can perform well, but they're not the right culture for the business. Yeah. I think that's the starting blocks of it.
Well, I can only do what people tell me, but, the people that have worked for me say I'll really look after them. Yeah. But what I do know, I'm very demanding in terms of you have to hit timescales. Yeah. You have to do what you say. Yeah. And you have to do it to absolutely top quality. Otherwise, you won't live the journey with me. Because it just ain't. And that's the culture we've got, is in right at home. You do what you say. Yeah. You do it on time. If you say you're doing it on Friday, you get it done by Friday. No, otherwise, say you're going to do it the following week, because it is unacceptable, and everything has to be the highest quality. If I go in and see a dirty coffee cup left around, I would just,
lose your shirt.
No, I wouldn't, but I'd say, is this the standards we want?
Yeah, I get it. It's good.
No, I don't ever raise me voice.
I can't imagine you doing, actually.
But, everyone knows what we want, and we've got that culture now spread through. And, if you look at where we are, 34% overall outstanding with the Care Quality Commission.
Oh, yeah, it's incredible.
I think 9.8 overall on homecare.co. They're all top quality indicators, Glassdoor's top, and all of them. But, we're very clear on the indicators. And if people don't want that, and that's not what, and it's not for everyone, get off our bus then. Because I tell you what, we ain't changing for anyone.
It's good.
We'll take our time recruiting franchisees and growing the business, but we have to be quality.
to keep that quality, it has to be a measured control. And you said about the 4 to 6 franchises recruited and
6 to 8.
6 to 8. And another thing, what I admire about you and your company,
and we've done that. We've banged on 7. We've averaged, yeah.
Can I be cheeky and just? Oh, I'm gonna be cheeky. I don't care. I'll just be cheeky.
You normally are, Ryan. Yes, okay, carry on.
Just could you give me a little bit of an insight into the how you recruit franchises and what the process is like? It's just because I'm always trying to. You never stop learning, do you?
Right.
And I know that you'll learn so much from McDonald's, and then you recruited so many yourself, and you've done such a good job. Could you just give me an idea what it's like to be? If I wanted to become a franchisee, what would I go for?
Well, a lot of it was seeing how McDonald's do it, and I think that made it. So where we started, Kate Dilworth, who was our recruit manager, would do the initial screening calls and talk to them and get to know them, and then she would say, well, I think this person is okay to come to Discovery Day. Yeah. Because early on we, virtually brought anyone to a Discovery Day, and we had a few humdingers come through. So,
we needed someone to screen that, basically.
Yeah, Kate would screen them. You learn along the way, crikey. Every day's learning, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so too.
So the get to Discovery Day, that's I would say around 4 hours where we tell them all about us, and then if after that mutually we feel it's worth continuing, we then have interviews. So you've got to come to national office for that Discovery Day. If you don't want to come to national office, forget it. We're not interested in you.
I get that.
And then after that we will do an interview session which lasts between 2.5 and 3 hours. We'll do that via video or on screen, Teams or something, because they've been to national office and it follows soon after. So that I always do the interview, and Kate will take notes and chip in and all that, and that's a real grilling to understand. And then if they pass that, then we insist that they talk to a minimum of 3 of our franchise owners and of their choice. So they might pick franchise owner that you wouldn't say was your absolute top franchise owner, but that's fine, because it's good to.
You need to hear the hardship.
Yeah, and smart people will learn. Well, the way their mindset ain't quite what the top people's mindset is.
You need to see that varied. Exactly the same thing. That you want to speak to everyone who sort of through the ranks, basically.
Yeah. So once you've done that, then we will have a review, which I'll do with Kate. Despite being the owner, and I do all the recruitment with Kate. I won't pass that to anyone, because the minute we start dropping standards on franchisees coming through, we'll fall backwards. So they have all these validations, and then review the validations, and then we'll have done a lot of background checks in the same time. Surprised what you find on Google. And then if we feel at that point they're ready, they then come back to national office and do a 2-hour presentation, about 2 hours, about why they make a good franchisee, why right at home, why care, how the what's the plans for the staff, what's the plans for the future, and only then would we then sign a letter of intent. So it's that can take quite a few months. That can take 2 or 3 months. But you're in a long-term relationship, and let's face it, the franchisee has got a lot more to lose than we have if they make the wrong decision. So we more or less push people back really to make sure that they're making the right decision.
Yeah. You kind of want them to have thought about absolutely everything.
Yeah.
That's what I try and say to them is I need you to, my line is I always say after we've done all this process, I need you to lie in bed at night, stare at the ceiling and say, this is absolutely what I want to do and I can do it. And if you can do that process, then that's what I need you to do.
Well, franchising is a great thing because you think the model is unbelievable in that, the success rate of franchisees, over 90%, isn't it, are in business after 5 years. Whereas if you're setting up on your own in any sector, you're out of business 90% within 5 years, just haven't made it. And just think what you're doing is, by and large, taking junior or mid managers and helping make them into successful business people. That is a big thing. But, the key ones who are at the absolute top is mindset. The ones who are real winners get to the top. It's like everything. Like you got, employing staff. Some people are happy to be juniors. Some people don't want promotions. Some people are very hungry for promotions. Some people want your job. But, that it's the same in franchising. Not everyone wants to be the absolute top there. Some get into the comfort zone.
We have franchisees like that. We have franchisees like that. Which is fine as well. We work with them to whatever they want to do.
The other thing in franchising, not everyone's going to be a success. Because some people just find they are not cut out for running a business, or they haven't got the skills to run a business, and
other things happen to them sometimes as well.
Exactly.
And that's something I learned quite early on. I didn't see that bit of it until I got into it myself, and I was like, oh right, okay. Like someone gets cancer, or someone dies, or someone has
even a divorce or something throws them right off.
Divorce is a big one, isn't it? Divorce can be a tough one, that one.
Because if you're doing a management franchise, which ours are, I'm not speaking. Manning a van is the same. That's probably they start running bigger businesses, but starting up a business is all consuming. If you're not going to be all consumed by it, and sitting at your dinner table and your wife's talking and you haven't heard one word she said because your mind's on that business. That's what happens with successful people. They have their mind on the business. That is going to take a toll early on in your family life. I remember starting business. I never took holiday for years at McDonald's, and you just had to put everything into these things to get them off and running. You might want a lifestyle franchise, that's a different thing. But if you want a management franchise with turnover, you're going to have to put it in. What I have to, I find quite funny, when some people will come to us and they say, well, my job's so hard anyway, so it's not going to be different. And then they start this is hard.
This is a different ball game.
I could tell you some stories, but they're about people, and I don't like talking about individuals. But it's a different ball game. Employing staff, payroll. When you were paid, you couldn't wait till the end of the month because you got your money's in the bank. When you're employing people, you dread the end of the month because the money's out the bank.
It's so funny. I've got a very good, I don't know if this rings home to you. Do you have some people in your life that you share stories with that not necessarily work in your business? Do you have, I call them charge points, and people that I talk about how I'm conducting myself. Do you have anyone like close friends like that, or do you have people you talk to, maybe like a confidant or anything like that, or not? Or you sort of
my wife.
Your wife, yeah.
She
shared the journey with you all the way.
Yeah, sometimes she's had to tell me off because I don't share enough of it. Because we get very hung up, and when I've had big issues like 2008 was a tough time because I'd done some stuff, and the banks were on you. I don't want to share the issues that are really bothering me with your wife, and then she'll, well, why didn't you tell me? Because I don't want you to be, I've got enough on my plate with you. So all my mates are mainly own their own businesses and done well. We'll talk about a few things, but not loads of detail.
Do you think sometimes that, I know you mentioned...
It's probably me because of the upbringing I've had, and then...
You're very determined. I can tell it by just being around you. You give off an atmosphere of determination in a positive way.
But I guess because you've been let down when you're younger by what's happened with mum and dad, a little bit of a trust goes, and you don't open up as much. I guess that's where you've come from. And men aren't good at opening up by and large, are they? I think now people are a bit different now, and that's good in a way.
Well, I don't know if we should bring this up or not. Like, mental health is tough in men, isn't it? And something you talked about before about losing your brother, and it's been a determination of mine for the last 4 years to try and talk about it as much as possible, because I think suicide is part of quite a lot of people's lives, unfortunately, nowadays, and it's because of that. Sometimes that men thing, I think it's testosterone. I think it's down to that, and the old sort of caveman sort of thing that we've got to be the dominant male in the room sometimes, and that mating call to be the best of the best sort of thing. And I think sometimes opening up and telling our problems shines us not in that light.
I think too it comes with experience and doing better in life as you've got to where you are. You become more relaxed about everything, I think if I remember back to your age, I was less relaxed about things because I still wanted to get to certain levels. As you get to certain levels and you get older, and you realise it's not just about the money and all that.
It's not.
It's you become, I would say life's the best it's ever been, because I feel very comfortable about family, with life and that. But that's a journey that everyone goes through. I'm not sure if it's good or bad, all this open stuff, because the way I look at it is, someone tells you you're tired, you start feeling tired. If someone doesn't tell you you're tired, you don't, do you? But I'm no expert on this, so
I'm not either, but just going on my own journey with it, that's all.
I'm very much keep it to myself. I'll talk to my wife, and that's it.
That's why I kind of appreciate you coming on this podcast as well, because I feel like you are like that as well. So it's been good for you to just really, open up a little bit. I appreciate that.
I just, for me, people have to be authentic. I hate bullshitters, and I hate people who, I do find like sort of like LinkedIn now has become more like a social when I look at it than a business thing. But I understand that too, because people are trying to get the name out there, so it's quite useful to get, as you're trying to build your business, you want to get your name out there, don't you?
People, like, let's say it right, Ken, if I was buying a franchise, I'd be looking who you were, wouldn't I? So that they want to look online and try and find you, so you have to promote yourself, don't they? Because that's the way it is, the world is when you're in business.
Well, I let the others promote that.
But what I'm saying to you is
you have to do it. It's a certain time you've got to do it. You've got to promote yourself. So everyone goes through that journey, and people have to promote themselves, and then there's a certain time then you just let your actions do it, and do it through your staff, and do it through your people. And I'd rather see the people do well.
Well, I'm going through these emotions. Like you've been, you're not stopping, so I'm not saying like you're stopping, because I don't think you are for any second.
No, I'm ambition to grow a lot more different stuff, I wouldn't excuse.
But there's a lot more things that you've been through than I've been through.
Yeah, and you only learn from
mistakes and the challenges, 100%.
It's the mistakes that you really learn the most from.
Yeah, because you damage your pride, don't you? You damage your soul, you damage you internally. You think, fuck, I've messed up there big time.
We've all messed up, but you know, they're the ones that you really learn from, don't you? And they, you know, that when you get hit by real crap, that really makes you mental resilient. So, you know, there's two ways in life. When you get hit by real crap, you either cave in or you come out stronger. And there was only ever one way with me. I've got to come out stronger.
I can tell that. Yeah.
You know.
You've just got to dig deep and just say, I'm not having this.
Because I love it if people have a go at me, because that is the best thing. Because I'll do... Yeah, probably first I'm thinking I'm going to kill them anyway. But the second thing just makes me stronger. Yeah. I love that. But, you know, talking about a business, you know, we started off and it was all about me early on. And then you start to get some staff, your franchisees. I did all the training. You get to a point then, you know, you're getting a decent team behind you, but people are coming and going and all that as you grow in. Then we get to a position where we've got stability. And, you know, I wanted then a team where we don't have to rely on anyone. Yeah. So, you know, it doesn't have to rely on me. Yeah. It doesn't have to rely on Lucy Campbell as CEO. Yeah. Doesn't have to rely on any of the others. We've got people coming through and know the jobs, or we can bring people in. That is where I think you get comfortable when you've got a business that doesn't rely on you. Now, what I would say is some business people get to the point where they've got a nice business, think, oh great, I'll just go and play golf and go on holiday all the time. I'll tell you what happens, I've seen it so many times with people, the business goes backwards very quickly. Yeah. They just leave it in the hands of someone. So, for example, with Lucy, promoted her to CEO, Lucy Campbell, and because I had quite a few different things on and I wanted someone's full time, and Lucy was ready to move up. She's fantastic.
But it's good for you to recognise that, isn't it? And I think...
and gives opportunities for the others. But, you know, Lucy made it dead clear. Lucy, I want to know everything that goes on in the business. We all the KPIs we have, where we're up to, know everything that's going on financially, because, you know, in a business, if Lucy wasn't there, I would be able to step in tomorrow. Yeah. You know, if something happened to me, Lucy would be able to continue. Yeah. You know, the family know enough. My daughters early on has got involved in the business, and my son, no doubt, as he gets more experience, will. So they could step in to work with Lucy if something happens. So you want a business
that stands alone,
that doesn't rely on any single person. I have no intention of selling business, because we're going forward and there's areas that we really want to explore growing on the side. But, you know, if you even sold a business, it just carry on seamlessly, and that's what you want to be in. That is when you know you've got a good business.
That's the space I want to get into.
Yeah, when it doesn't rely on just
one individual.
Any individual in there. If any individual left, sometimes hard to, takes a bit of time to do, but we could replace anyone. Yeah. And well, that's where we built. But it took me quite a few years to thinking about that and thinking, where do I want to get it to?
So some of the things that I've been working on myself was not giving myself too much day to do, to then be able to think on the business instead of in the business. And that piece of work I've done over the sort of last year, 2 years, is just I'm not doing too many task related stuff. I'm more on the business and helping people. I think that's a big move for me, moving in that position.
But it takes time to get there, doesn't it?
And then so I feel like you've got really massively strong leadership skills, but then it's coaching the people beneath you to have the same leadership skills, isn't it? And giving them that frame of mind and that mindset, which I found not difficult, but a very unusual and nice bit of work, isn't it? You know, trying to reset people's brain.
Well, you talk about culture. I mean, I work very closely with Lucy, and she, I think, you know, she always tells me she's learned so much and I've mentored her along, but I expect that now down Lucy and through the staff. And I always remember saying, well, you know, as we grow, how do we ensure that we keep the standards in here and people coming in? There was about 4 or 5 senior managers, and they said, because we won't let anyone in this business, them standards are going to be gone right away. I thought, wow, that's
well done to you, though, isn't it?
That's pretty strong. But it's a team, and it's just great.
But
great team cultures, isn't it? You know.
I love that, mate. I've met Lucy and Kate loads of times, and they're incredible.
Yeah, but we've got lots of other strong people in there, you know, too. The whole team's and that, but nice people. You know what? And it's trust in it. Lucy, like, I just know she. When you know, you look at these politicians, they're all backstabbing and bad mouthing people. Lucy, you know, I know I can trust her as far as, you know.
Needs everything.
So, and that is worth its weight in gold. She knows she can trust her people, you know, and we can. And it's a culture where no one's like sort of backstabbing and all that. And,
I get that, man.
And there are businesses where they're all having a go at each other.
I think you need a clear guidelines of where the business is going to go. Like you say, amazing standards so everyone knows what the expectations are. This is what we're working towards. This is where you're going to go. This is how we treat each other. This is our behaviour. This is our language.
Exactly.
And that's what you're in.
Yeah, and there are the occasional ones who don't fit that, and you need to move on.
And some people come.
Same with franchisees who don't want to be that same culture. Just move on.
Yeah. Oh, there's people that you didn't think would be, and then you train, and you actually surprise you as well. There's I've had that before as well. You can bring them on, you think, don't know about this one, and then all of a sudden they're like, incredible.
The other thing is to remember, people change.
Yeah.
I've seen people that, you know, I'm myself probably, you know, early on, you know, you change over the years, and people have thought, well, can't rely on this person. Now you put you know, you could rely on your right arm with that person because they change over the years.
They learn lessons, don't they?
They learn. If you're dead straight, unless you're dead straight with them, sorry, I hate this woke stuff, you know, all this. You've got to be honest with people. I mean, history is history. We, you know, I think we're better for that history because we look back at it and say, well, that's wrong, but you can't rewrite history.
No, you can't.
You know, it happened, didn't it? You know.
Yeah.
You know, but you can learn from it. But you've got to be dead straight with people, because if you're not dead straight with them, they'll just carry on the way they are.
Yeah, mate, I'm going through that lesson now. Through that lessons now, learning to just be down the line in a nice way, but down the line with people.
Yeah, you have to be dead honest with them.
Yeah. It's
have you listened to the High Performance podcast?
No.
That's really good. Jake Humphrey, you know, BT. He runs BT, the sports stuff with BT, and it's fantastic. And that talks, you know, I learn so much now from podcasts, and you know what, you know, even, you know, I'm old and you are learning all the time. Looking for books and podcasts, and you know, one thing there was, you know, excelling at always wanting to be the best, but also being straight with people. Otherwise they just keep going where they are, and sometimes it's them little things that have been said to me during the years that you've gone, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. And then you think back and think, you know, and 6 months, 2 years' time, you know what they said is right.
Yeah.
And that changes you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's dead true, that, mate. It's so true. It's
you know,
bits
you hate to hear it at the time, but it's right, you know?
Yeah, and it's only when you have that honest conversation in the car with yourself or going for a walk, you think, he's right or she was right.
Yeah.
It's your ego gets attacked a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's having that conversation with yourself.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Mate, incredible journey. So, I feel like I could do about a 5-hour podcast weekend. I could get you back 10 times. But just give me an overall sort of summary where you're at now at Right at Home and what's the next sort of move for you guys.
Well, right at Home, where are we? Now we want to, we're at 80 offices. We're not going to change and go fast-paced. We could take on 10, 15 every year franchisees, but are they the quality we want? Yeah. You know, so we're going to keep to where we are. Next target is 100 by 100 franchisees, 100 million turnover for the group, and then that'll take us through to around halfway to where we are, and then we want to grow that. But you know, we've done some great things on IT in the background. We've built our own system. Where do we go with that? We're, you know, growing the group into different areas such as care homes, other kind of things. You know, just I'm more ambitious than I've ever been. Yeah. And you know, I just want to grow more and more the business, but absolutely focused on Right at Home, keeping its quality, but growing more businesses around that too. And that's why Lucy is CEO.
You can have a bit of time to...
Yeah, but
your appetite for growth is still there, just as...
Oh, crikey, more hungry than ever.
Can I just ask you one more thing about... Do you it's more like about health and your own person, but do you have a regular routine of things that you do that you keep your well-being every day? Or is a sort
Don't know if it's good, but I normally up about 5:30, 26, go for a run every morning.
5k, 10k, or 3k?
I just do about 4k to 5k depending
on what day it is.
Before work, and then I'll either be in the office or I've got my own office at home, and you know, I like to be in there by 8 o'clock. Yeah. You know, so minimum 8 o'clock, and then, you know, get things done. I tend to be about 6 I'll finish or something, or it depends if you're later. But also, you know, I like to go to the gym, do a few weights at night. So I do quite a bit of exercise, but that keeps me going. I play a bit of golf, and then, you know, with my son, we go and watch Liverpool play only at home. So, you know, I just love sport. You know, I love football, absolutely. I adore football, but I'm not like where, you know, it's just about Liverpool. Liverpool's my team, but for example, everyone laughed at me. Says, "What, you know?" Says, "Oh, I'm going over to Qatar to watch the World Cup, and I managed to get a ticket for the final." And everyone's like, "Oh, what are you going to Qatar for all that way?" And I just went to the best game ever, you know. And then, you know, everyone's saying, "Oh, wow!" After, you know, I could show you I'll show you the pictures after. I was right in the middle of the Argentina end in that World Cup final, and that was something where I had a little tear in my eye. You know, I thought, wow, you know, so you're in the middle of this in probably one of the best finals you've ever seen, and it's lovely to do them experiences, but that's only because you've got your business where you are. And
did you think you had a bit of a moment of clarity there and just appreciated what you'd done for yourself?
I always appreciate what you know. Appreciate, and you've got to keep yourself grounded, but you know, also you appreciate that you can do that, because not everyone can do that kind of things, you know.
It's a bit of a moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know it's a little thing. I just bought a new car, and I had a little bit of a moment when I bought that. Just like, it's nice because you know you've worked hard for that, and you go through so much, don't you?
Yeah.
It's not just the customer and not just the relationship with your staff. It's everything in between it and all the outside ramifications that you take on as a business owner as well.
Yeah, because I do feel in Britain people vilify employers when, you know, we do so much for your staff. Without the SMEs,
we'd be screwed.
This world, yet they don't mind an actor taking loads of money or a footballer taking loads of money.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, most SMEs don't take loads of money, do they?
No,
you know,
no, they're making it worse for us all the time.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up because I think your journey's been incredible. I've learned so much. I don't even care if anyone else learns anything from this podcast. But I appreciate you coming on there, and I knew that you were a little bit reserved about coming on, but it's important that you share your journey, and the franchise industry needs to hear it.
No, I enjoyed it, Ryan, and thank you for asking me.
Okay, thanks.
It was really nice to ask me.
No problem.
Yeah.